Ever wonder why you see so many old Mazdas still on the road? Those 2008 Mazda 3s and 2012 CX-5s with 250,000 miles, still running strong, still getting excellent gas mileage. It's not luck. Mazdas are built different, especially those Skyactive engines. But here's the truth. Even the best Mazda won't make it past 150,000 miles without proper care. I've worked on Mazdas for over 15 years, and I've seen pristine CX-5s with seized engines at 130,000 miles. Why? Because the owner skipped one critical maintenance step. In this video, I'm sharing 11 essential tips that separate 300,000-mile Mazdas from junkyard casualties. No fancy equipment needed, just the right maintenance at the right time. So stick around because these insider tips will save you thousands in engine and transmission repairs. Let's get into it. Number 1. Change your oil every 5,000 miles. Alright, here's where I lose some of you, but I don't care because it's the truth. Mazda says 7,500 miles between oil changes with their maintenance minder system. I say that's pushing it, especially on turbocharged CX-5s and Mazda 6 models. I've torn apart too many Skyactive engines with sludge buildup at 90,000 miles. You know what they all had in common? Owners who followed the 7,500 mile interval religiously, trusting the maintenance reminder without question. Skyactive engines run high compression ratios, 13:1 or higher depending on your model. That means they generate more heat and put more stress on engine oil than conventional engines. The oil breaks down faster, especially if you do a lot of short trips where the engine never reaches full operating temperature. Here's my rule. Change oil every 5,000 miles for turbocharged Skyactive engine, every 5,000 to 6,000 miles for naturally aspirated models. Use full synthetic always. Mazda recommends 0W20 for most modern Skyactive engines. Stick with it. Never use conventional oil thinking you'll save money. And yes, always change the oil filter too. I've seen people try to reuse filters to save $10. That dirty filter sends contaminated oil right back through your engine, defeating the entire purpose of fresh oil. A DIY oil change cost maybe $45 with quality synthetic oil. Compare that to a $5,500 short block replacement when sludge destroys your bearings. Trust me on this one. Your Mazda's high compression Skyactive engine needs clean oil more than lower compression design. Number 2. Address carbon buildup in direct injection engines. Let's talk about the elephant in the room for Skyactive engines: carbon buildup. If you own a 2012 or newer Mazda with direct injection, you need to understand this issue because ignoring it will cost you thousands. Direct injection engines spray fuel directly into the combustion chamber. That's great for power and efficiency, but it creates one major problem. No fuel washes over the intake valves like in traditional port injection engines. Without that fuel washing the valves clean, carbon deposits accumulate from oil vapor and blow-by gases. I've seen intake valves on CX-5s at 80,000 miles that looked like they were coated in tar. Those engines were misfiring, losing power, and getting 5 miles per gallon less than they should. Walnut blasting to remove that carbon cost the owner $800. Here's how to prevent it. Use top-tier gasoline exclusively. Brands like Shell, Chevron, Mobil, and Costco carry enhanced detergent packages that reduce carbon buildup significantly. That extra 5 cents per gallon saves you hundreds in cleaning services. Every 5,000 miles, add a bottle of quality fuel system cleaner like Chevron Techron or CRC GDI 4D cleaner. These cleaners specifically target carbon deposits in direct injection engine. Cost per bottle? About $12. Cost of professional carbon cleaning? $600 to $900. And here's a pro tip most people miss. Take your Mazda on a 20-minute highway drive once a week, pushing RPMs above 4,000 for a few seconds. High RPMs create heat that helps burn off carbon deposits before they harden and become permanent. Skip carbon maintenance and you're looking at rough idle misfires and eventually damaged catalytic converter. Stay on top of it and your Skyactive engine will run smooth past 300,000 miles. Number 3. Service your transmission fluid. Properly, your Mazda's transmission gets ignored until something goes wrong. By the time you notice slipping, hesitation, or harsh shifts, you're not preventing damage anymore. You're paying for replacement. Mazda uses both conventional automatics and some manual transmissions depending on your model. Both need fluid service, but the intervals differ dramatically. For conventional automatic transmissions in CX-5, CX-9, Mazda 6, and Mazda 3 models, change the fluid every 60,000 miles maximum. Mazda might say the fluid is good for longer, but I've seen transmissions fail at 110,000 miles because owners believe that marketing. Transmission fluid carries away heat and microscopic metal particles from gears and clutch packs. Fresh fluid suspends those particles safely. Old fluid becomes saturated with metallic debris that acts like grinding compound, wearing down every component it touches. Always use genuine Mazda ATFFZ or equivalent fluid meeting Mazda specifications. Generic transmission fluid might save you $20, but it doesn't match Mazda's friction characteristics and can cause premature failure. Do a simple drain and fill, not a flush. A flush can dislodge deposits that then clog valve body. A drain and fill replaces about 4 quarts out of 10, which is enough to refresh the fluid and keep things healthy. For manual transmissions in Mazda 3 or Miata models, change the fluid every 30,000 miles using GL4 rated gear oil. Manual transmissions work harder in stop-and-go traffic, and fresh fluid protects synchronizers from wear. A transmission service costs about $150 at a shop, maybe $70 if you DIY. A new transmission? That's $3,500 to $5,500. I know which one I'd choose. Number 5. Replace your spark plugs at 60,000 miles. Mazda might say spark plugs last 75,000 or even 100,000 miles depending on your model. I say 60,000 miles maximum, and here's why. Skyactive engines run lean air-fuel mixtures with high compression ratios. That combination creates more heat at the spark plug tip than conventional engines. More heat means faster electrode wear, even with premium iridium plug. I've pulled 90,000-mile spark plugs from Mazda 3s that looked like they'd been through a furnace. Those engines were misfiring, had rough idle, and were getting 4 miles per gallon less than they should. Fresh plugs fixed everything immediately. Replace spark plugs every 60,000 miles using NGK or Denso iridium plugs meeting Mazda specification. For most Skyactiv engines, that's NGKLKAR 7BIX11PS or equivalent. Don't cheap out with copper plugs that need replacing every 30,000 miles. When replacing plugs, inspect the ignition coils simultaneously. Original coils can fail around 100,000 miles. Look for cracks, carbon tracking, or oil contamination. If coils show any damage, replace them alongside the spark plugs to prevent comebacks. And here's critical advice for Mazda owners. Use anti-seize compound on spark plug threads. Skyactiv aluminum cylinder heads can seize plugs, making removal nearly impossible after 70,000 miles. A thin coat of anti-seize prevents that nightmare. Fresh spark plugs maintain your Mazda's efficiency and performance. Neglected plugs reduce fuel economy today and cause expensive catalytic converter damage tomorrow. Number 6. Service your cooling system every 60,000 miles. Your Mazda's cooling system does more than prevent overheating. It protects aluminum engine components from corrosion, maintains precise temperature control for the Skyactiv engine's efficiency, and ensures your heater works in winter. Coolant isn't permanent, despite what long life labels suggest. After 60,000 miles or 5 years of heating and cooling cycles, coolant chemistry changes. It becomes acidic and starts attacking the very components it's supposed to protect. Here's the schedule. Complete coolant flush and refill every 60,000 miles or 5 years. Use only Mazda FL22 coolant or any meeting Mazda specification. Don't substitute green coolant or orange Dex Cool. Mixing coolant types triggers chemical reactions that create sludge. Perform complete drain and refills, not just top-offs. And here's a Mazda-specific tip. After refilling, burp the cooling system properly. Skyactiv engines are prone to air pockets that create hot spots. Run the engine with the radiator cap off, heater on full until the thermostat opens and air bubbles stop appearing. A $75 coolant service every 60,000 miles prevents thousands in cooling system repairs down the road. Number 7. Inspect and replace brake fluid. Brake fluid represents the most commonly neglected fluid in your Mazda. Most owners never change it once. That neglect creates dangerous driving conditions and expensive component failures. Brake fluid actively absorbs moisture from surrounding air. After 3 years of service, brake fluid typically contains 3% to 4% water. That water contamination dramatically reduces the fluid's boiling point. When brake fluid boils, it creates a soft, spongy pedal that can't deliver full braking force. In emergency situations, this causes accident. Water contamination also corrodes internal brake component. ABS modules, brake calipers, and master cylinders contain metal parts that rust when exposed to moisture. I've replaced $800 ABS modules destroyed by corroded brake fluid that cost $100 $100 to change preventively. Replace brake fluid every 3 years or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first. Use DA-T3 brake fluid meeting Mazda specifications. The service costs $80 to $120 at most shops. You can test brake fluid moisture content yourself with a $15 moisture tester. Test annually. If moisture content exceeds 3%, flush the system immediately regardless of time since last service. Your Mazda's braking system is its most critical safety feature. Fresh brake fluid ensures it functions properly when you need it most. Number 8. Replace your cabin and engine air filters. Your Skyactive engine needs unrestricted airflow to run efficiently. A clogged air filter starves the engine of oxygen. Replace your engine air filter every 15,000 miles or annually, whichever comes first. If you drive on dirt roads or in dusty areas, do it every 10,000 miles. Most Mazda air filters take 5 minutes to replace. Open the air box, remove the old filter, drop in the new one. Total cost? About $20. Way cheaper than dealing with carbon buildup or damaged mass airflow sensors. And don't forget the cabin air filter. It's usually behind the glove box and filters air entering your interior. A clogged cabin filter makes your AC work twice as hard, reduces heating efficiency, and can cause musty odors. Replace cabin air filters every 15,000 to 20,000 miles. Some Mazda models use activated charcoal filters that cost more but filter better. Worth the extra $10. Both filters are easy DIY jobs. Total cost under $35. Total time under 15 minutes. No excuse for neglecting them. Number 9. Monitor and address oil consumption. Here's an uncomfortable truth about some Skyactive engines. They can consume oil, especially certain 2.5-liter models from 2014 to 2016. It's not always a defect you can fix, but you can manage it to prevent catastrophic damage. I've seen Mazda 6 models burning a quart every 2,000 miles. Run low on oil just once, and you risk bearing damage, piston scoring, and complete engine failure. Check your oil level every other fill-up. Seriously. Make it a habit. If you're burning more than a quart every 3,000 miles, you've got an issue that needs attention. First, verify its actual consumption and not leak. Check under your Mazda for oil spots. Inspect the valve cover gasket, oil pan gasket, and rear main seal for seepage. Sometimes what looks like consumption is actually a slow leak. If it's genuine consumption, try switching to a slightly thicker oil. If your manual specifies 0W20, try 5W30. The thicker oil might reduce consumption without harming engine protection. Replace the PCV valve every 60,000 miles. A clogged PCV valve increases crankcase pressure, forcing oil past piston rings and into the combustion chamber. And if your Mazda is still under warranty, document everything. Take photos of the dipstick showing low oil. Keep receipts for oil you add between changes. Mazda has replaced engines under warranty for excessive oil consumption, but you need documentation proving the pattern. Never ignore oil consumption. A quart of oil costs $8. An engine replacement costs $5,000 to $7,000. Number 10. Protect your undercarriage against rust. Rust destroys structural components that protect you and crash it. If you live where roads get salted or near the coast, rust threatens your Mazda's safety. Salt accelerates rust on subframes, suspension parts, brake lines, and fuel lines. Once rust starts, it spreads fast. Inspect your undercarriage twice yearly. Look for rust on the subframe, control arms, and brake line. Surface rust is treatable. Structural rust means expensive replacements. Wash your undercarriage weekly during winter. Many car washes offer undercarriage spray for $3 to $5. Apply fluid film or wool wax annually before winter. These oil-based treatments block moisture and salt. Professional application costs $100 to $150. DIY costs about $40. Pay attention to the rear subframe on Mazda 3 and Mazda 6 models. These are common rust areas. Protecting your undercarriage costs under $150 yearly. A rust-free Mazda stays safe and holds value. Number 11. Maintain a detailed service log. Every time you perform maintenance, write it down. Record the date, mileage, and what you did. Keep all receipts in a notebook or digital folder. A log helps you spot patterns when issues develop. Mechanics take you seriously when you show detailed records. Mazdas with complete logs sell for $1,000 to $2,000 more than ones without. Most importantly, a log keeps you accountable. You won't forget when you last changed transmission fluid if it's written down. Mazda's maintenance reminder resets and doesn't track everything. Your log creates a permanent record. A $3 notebook protects your Mazda better than anything else. Start today, even at 100,000 miles. Reaching 300,000 miles on your Mazda isn't about luck or getting a perfect example from the factory. It's about following these 11 maintenance habits that prevent the failures most owners mistakenly accept as inevitable. These 11 habits prevent 95% of the problems that destroy Mazdas before 200,000 miles. The remaining 5% are random component failures that no amount of maintenance can prevent. But those are excellent odds. Your Mazda was engineered to last. Mazda designers built every Skyactive component to reach high mileage with appropriate care. The question isn't whether your Mazda can make it to 300,000 miles. The question is whether you'll follow the habits that allow it to get there.